This is a podcast demonstrating how I would incorporate coaching into my role as a nurse manager. The scenario I have come up with is that Susan is a new graduate RN who has joined our medical surgical floor and who is currently on orientation. She is due for her 90-day performance evaluation, and her preceptor and peers have come to me with some concerns. We typically allow 10 to 12 weeks of orientation and have extended it to 16 weeks in times where we felt more reinforcement was needed. Performance evaluations are crucial because they evaluate an employee's performance relative to the performance standards of that job. It is an important time to look at strengths, but also identify areas of improvement and provide feedback in an effort to correct and eliminate any deficiencies. Susan is scheduled to come in to her evaluation at 2 p.m. today. So here's the scenario. It's 2 p.m. and Susan has walked in. Hi Susan, come on in and have a seat. As you know, you are here today for your 90-day performance evaluation. This is something that every new employee has to do as a part of their orientation. It is a way to look at your strengths, but also some areas for improvement. This is a chance for you to also ask any questions and to provide feedback as well. As a new graduate nurse, we have given you 12 weeks of orientation to the unit. Once orientation is complete, you're expected to be able to take a full patient assignment of 5 to 6 patients each day. I have asked for feedback from your preceptor, as well as you know I round on patients every day to see how their care is and if there is anything I can do. I have gotten a lot of great feedback about your empathy towards patients as well as to their families, and I really appreciate that you're meeting those standards. As you know, our mission statement here is to care for those as we would care for those we love, and from what I have been able to see, you are doing a wonderful job at that. I've noticed that you have not been able to take more than 4 patients, however, at a time, and you are nearing the end of your orientation. Have you noticed this, or can you tell me maybe what you have felt was a challenge for you when you were taking the 5 patients? At this time, Susan reported that she does not feel organized and becomes easily overwhelmed and frustrated with more than 4 patients. She also indicates that she still does not feel ready to be on her own and has almost made several errors when trying to take a 5th patient. She also reports that one of her preceptors has started to get frustrated with her and that this has made her even more anxious. And then this is where I cut back in. We want you to feel comfortable and competent to take care of 5 patients without difficulty. This is a requirement of your job description, and we will need to look at ways we can possibly improve your confidence as well as help you to organize and care for those 5 patients efficiently. I think the first step is going to be to maybe extend your orientation a little longer and really focus on taking those 5 patients over the next few weeks. I will make sure to align your schedule with a preceptor that you have seemed to do well with and that maybe you feel more comfortable with, as opposed to the preceptor that was maybe making you a little anxious. And I will handle that and follow up on that as well. And remember, you do have your preceptor as an extra hand if you really need it, as well as charge nurses and your peers. So rely on those resources when you need them. I would rather you ask for help and have teamwork than not and get you or yourself into some trouble, your patient into some trouble. Once you're off orientation, we will then align you with a mentor that's will work the same days that you work. This mentor will be someone that you feel comfortable approaching and asking questions of them. They will also serve as an extra set of eyes on your patients if that will help you to build your confidence. Again, we want to support you and make you successful. We are a team, and so let's focus on these areas of improvement and strengthen your skills even more, because I think you're going to be a great asset to our team. We've talked about some of your strengths. We've talked about areas we can work on. Why don't we meet again in 2 weeks just to have kind of a more formal meeting. We can talk about the possibility of possibly coming off of orientation if you've met these standards, any other obstacles that you perhaps have faced, and different ways that we can make your transition onto the floor independently as smooth as possible. I do appreciate that you had open and honest feedback with me today, and I want you to know that I do take your feedback very seriously. I do plan to follow up on maybe the frustrations of that preceptor to see maybe what she's got going on and why she felt that way. And I do want to help everyone to improve, so please know that I do have an open door policy, and anytime you need anything, you feel free to come in and talk to me. Do you have any questions or anything that you need to go over? And at this time, she doesn't express any questions. It was a very informal but yet formal way to talk about her strengths and her weaknesses, not necessarily weaknesses, but areas for improvement. And at that point, I feel that we have set a plan into motion, and it would be very important for me to continue to follow up and to provide feedback to make sure that not only is she meeting all the standards and performance standards of her job, but that I as a nurse manager am also meeting her standards as well as the standards of her teammates as well.